Welcome everybody to day 5 of Thought Leadership Branding 5-day challenge. It's our last day, and I'm very excited to share it with you because again, it's a big part of the process, whether personal branding is the start or the end or the entire process of your thought leadership brand. Today we're going to talk about personal branding for focus, clarity, and direction. And again, as you go, we'll have questions at the end, and I'm going to share a little bit of, again, I'm going to talk about the agenda. How can you use the knowledge today? Well, again, a big part of personal branding is really managing your name, whether you have a business or not, right? The chance that people are going to Google you. So we have to make sure that what shows up is something that is really going to inspire them and want to work with you. And again, your brand is everywhere. Your brand's on your profiles. Your brand is on your website. Your brand is in your email signature. It's in how you talk to people. It's in your content you create. It's in any videos you make. Your brand is everywhere. And again, knowledge does not equal results. So the question to ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid, and then go do it? Because I know a lot of people are always afraid of different things. And so I want to make sure that you are thinking about that as you move forward. Who's it training for? As I've been saying all along, it's for people who want to create memorability, the people who want to create more focus, alignment, impact, people who want to get more speaking engagements, media opportunities, coaching, consulting clients, people who want to double their revenue, people who want to create a powerful story and lasting legacy. That's who this is for. Today, we're going to talk about why personal branding. I'll talk about thought leadership branding again, how to dive in and start. I'm going to share with you my signature process for how to actually develop and discover your personal brand. I'll talk about the discover, design, deliver path, and then I'm going to share with you the next steps and how you can move forward from what we've done. Q&A, coaching, and invitation to do even more stuff with me and everybody else. And in these 5 days, we've talked about day 1, mindset and confidence building, which was the foundation, building valuable content to create conversation, brand and storytelling to enhance relationships and enhance your content, building relationships online in a more meaningful way or in person, and of course, using personal branding to create more clarity, focus, and direction. The next step, of course, is an invitation to work together, as well as leverage the community we've already built together, along with the worksheets and resources that we've got, plus the replay that you have. And again, I've always shared with you the entire process in terms of how these 5 days are structured. And today is the last day, which is personal branding, which again, if we do a good job, personal branding feeds into the mindset and confidence piece. And my promise to you is to help you use your personal brand to create that thought leadership brand that has more clarity, focus, purpose, direction, and impact that you want. Why am I doing this? I've already shared my why statement, and I'll share it again later, but this is something that's really important to me. It drives what I do. In terms of who I am, there's a couple of extra things I'll share. One is, I was named a Twitter marketing rock star alongside Gary Vaynerchuk, 𝐓𝐡𝐨𝐮 𝐿, and Neil Patel, who was a personal brand experts, as well as named a top 25 social selling influencer out of 1,000. I was ranked 60. And so it's a big part of, my brand and how I put myself out there and create that influence that I need for my business. So what is personal branding? The idea is the personal brand of you. This is what I want to talk about and talk a bit about why it's important. You look at a place like McDonald's, and a lot of people go there. A lot of people don't. I used to go there, but now I don't. But there's McDonald's, which is a strong brand, and then there's also Joe's Hamburgers on the left-hand side. So which one do you go to? Do you go to McDonald's or do you go to Joe's Hamburgers? Well, it really depends on your experience. You may love McDonald's for various reasons that are branded, like maybe there's convenience, maybe there's pricing, maybe you had a special childhood memory that makes you associated with that. Or maybe you went to Joe's Hamburgers one time, you met the mom and pop who own the store, or maybe they make a better hamburger that's more juicy, and so you go there. And so a lot of us with branding and corporate branding will choose one path or the other, and usually we're quite loyal to it. Now, a brand, I love this quote, is basically cumulative. It's a product of 1,000 small gestures. Ever since you were born, you had a brand. So when my child was a bedwetter, that's part of her brand. When my child was someone who was, angry at 3, that's part of our brand. And now, my 11-year-old daughter is full of drama. And so that's part of her brand too. And we have this brand that follows us our whole life that either evolves or sometimes it doesn't. But my definition as a personal brand is a promise to deliver an unmet need. It's basically a collection of your emotional experience with a name, a logo, or symbol. So it's the things that you remember. So if you're in Canada, you'll know Tim Hortons. And if you're global, you might know Starbucks. But when you think about those places, what do you remember? When you think of Tim Hortons or Starbucks, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? You can maybe type this in chat box or just kind of tell me.
Starbucks?
Yeah.
Terrible coffee. They all shut down in Australia because we are real European coffee aficionados. So they spend a fortune in Australia, and 95% of them shut down. And but anyway, that's just a personal taste.
Yeah, no problem. Anyone else? What are some things that you think about when you think about Tim Hortons or Starbucks? Tim Hortons, comfort, Starbucks, corporate. Okay. Anyone else? You add the type in the chat box, just blurt it out. I see Dan's now actually typing, which is great. So you can type too, Mary Kay or Samantha. Like when you think of it, what do you think about?
For us, I think about books as well, because a lot of our Starbucks are attached to Chapters bookstores.
Right. Okay, Timmy's friendly staff. Okay, yeah, great. Actually, every time I go to Starbucks, the local one here, they're super friendly. Hey, how are you? Good morning. How's like they were super nice. I thought that was actually kind of like, whoa, like that's good training. But you know what's interesting about it is that people remember things beyond just the simple stuff. Well, donuts, coffee, whatever it might be. There was a commercial here with Sidney Crosby, who's a famous hockey player. And I started with him going to the rest Tim Hortons at 5 o'clock in the morning, grabbing donuts and coffees, taking them to the ice hockey rink, and they're taking a break and they're having their coffees and having their donuts and whatnot. And the idea was that Tim Hortons was the Canadian experience. That's what they were positioning as. And so when you look at Tim Hortons or Starbucks, it could also give you an emotional experience of, this is where I studied for my exams. This is where I met this amazing person, had this great coffee conversation. And so things that you remember. And so one of the things to keep in mind is that, you know, a brand is a promise. And, you know, personal branding is a chance for you to be the storyteller of your life. And it's a chance for you to get people to trust you. And that's a really good thing to do. And personal branding actually leads to greater happiness. I mean, who doesn't want to be a happier person? I mean, do you want to be happier? Do you want to make more money? I mean, those are two things that I think are yes and yes. Yeah, we'd like to have more financial freedom. We'd love to be happier. And that's why personal branding is so great, because it leads to that outcome. Now, the words of research tells, well, 15% of people have truly defined their personal brand, yet less than 5% are living consistently at work each and every day. Why? Well, it's extremely challenging. It requires a tremendous amount of self-awareness, action, accountability that a lot of people haven't really done. And 70% of professionals believe they've defined their personal brand, and 50% believe they're living it, but most are not, probably because they haven't done the deep dive work that I talked about. A lot of people center on self-promotion rather than deep dive discovery and committing to advance themselves by serving others. But why is personal brand important? Well, the basics are really people matter, right? If you want to trust a relationship. Every single person that you work with, or as part of your team, or even for yourself, having that trust goes a long way by getting clarity. You create vision and impact, which allows you create a vision that you can implement that actually aligns with who you are, and that's when you can get some really great opportunities through your business. It's recognition. You become known for your values and your thought leadership as you put yourself out there and share that content. It's a career catalyst too. You get better jobs, better contacts, and better clients when you have a strong personal brand. And ultimately, we're memorable because we remember people who are top of mind, whether you go to a networking event or whether they consume your content or they're a part of your room. And so, you know, it's not an option. It is the powerful leadership enabler. And what we also know is that we get recognition, trust, loyalty, market share, and relationship, and increased dollars. You know, so McDonald's, for example, is getting that. But I'll share a little story. When I was younger, I used to love McDonald's quarter pounders with cheese, and I don't actually eat them anymore, but I used to love them. And I got to tell you, I would open the wrapper and I'd smell it, and my mouth would water. And then as the double cheeseburger coming in my mouth, I would literally hear H saying, "Oh!" And I'm so excited. And I was very happy to eat this thing. And you know, that whole idea, it was just increasing my happiness. You know, a good brand increases your happiness. And what I could say is that a relationship with a brand can be profitable, both in terms of money, but also in terms of experience and happiness.
Bobby, can I say something for a second?
Yeah, sure.
In terms of this, something that I would say in my life, and also it would pertain to a lot of people in Australia, is Disneyland. And Disney is a very, very much something that's relationship, because families would sit around watching the at 6 o'clock on Sunday. There was a Disneyland story, a Disneyland movie, and it was like very much, when I think of Disneyland, most people think of those moments in childhood when you actually got your parents' attention, or you watch something that together you could watch. Is very family friendly, and going to Disneyland. So I understand what you're saying there about it. It's something that it captures an emotional content. Yeah.
And I remember watching Disney at 6 o'clock on Sunday evenings with my family. So, we watched like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and all the old movies. So I told it Lassie. I remember that for sure. So that's a great memory. Thanks so much for that. Let's keep going. So, and the idea, the goal is to get to that ikigai, that purpose, that reason for being, right? Doing what you love, what the world needs, what you're good at, and what you can be paid for, which is a great place to be. So the big question is, how do I figure out my personal brand? How do I leverage my personal brand? How can I make it memorable? How will it greatly impact my life? So let's start with challenges. What are your challenges to understand your personal brand better and invest in the process? That's what I want to know. And this is more where you can unmic and share that. Because, I've talked about this. 90% of people don't do the deep dive work. So tell me a bit more about these challenges. Dan, go ahead.
I'll hop in. For me, it's right now, focus is the biggest challenge. And I know you've said that that's many people's initial struggle because we're kind of in this mode of creating things and ideating. And we don't really have the time, take the time, not have the time. We don't take the time to do that introspective work. And that's the kind of deep work that I'm doing right now, is figuring out how I can leverage my passions into something that connects with people and to find the most efficient connections. So that's my struggle right now.
Okay. Anyone else want to share?
So same with me, Bobby, same as what Daniel was saying, the focus of doing that deep dive and trying to figure out what's in my what's in my Mr. Potato Head. I think there was a video on that a long time ago, or a TED Talk or something. Like, I'm the potato head, and which parts do I want to put out and stick on and put that forth as my personal brand? So more deep dive needed.
Okay, but let me challenge you on that. What's stopping you from doing it? Time?
No, not really time. I think it's putting the focus, or me putting it as a priority. So it hasn't been a priority.
Okay. And again, I would keep going with that. Why is it not a priority, right? So if we look at the first day one of mindset and confidence, right? If we look at the deep dive of the things that emotionally resonate with us, or we're trying to do, or what holds us back, or what pain points are, we can actually dive deep to understand what's kind of holding us back. But I appreciate that. What about you, Samantha? What do you think?
Sorry, I think it's right screen. Actually, I've got a lot of clarity coming in the last 2 weeks. I'm pretty happy about where I am. I woke up this morning with a little bit more fine tuning of what I'm doing, and I'm pretty happy about it. In fact, I was, while we're talking, I'm like typing it out to see how it looks, and getting excited about what that looks like moving forward. So still being multidisciplinary is still a bit of an issue. I get this calling kind of in this one area, and then, but yeah, anyway, I have callings in multiple areas. So it's just trying to figure out how to be both, I guess, in the limited time we have. So.
Right. Okay. And Brahman, how about you?
I think my challenge is that I still am good at what I've been doing, and I've been running a private counseling practice, and I feel a need to want to do that and help people. At the same time, I want to get into doing the branding so that I can, send out to the world this conversational card game I made called the Talking Circle. So it's just really about coming to a place where I've finished doing the work so that people are stable and good and fine, so that I can then go on and invest in myself. So it's a bit of a conflict of priorities, and I don't want to leave people in a COVID situation vulnerable. People matter to me more than money, which is why I don't probably have the success financially that I could have had, but I have the personal satisfaction of knowing that I made a difference in my life, in people's lives. So that matters to me a lot.
Yeah, and one of the things that's hard for people is all the things that really matter, like self-care and investing in your people and organization, and really doing that deep dive analysis on self-work. People and organizations don't do that. They don't do it enough. They don't put the time in. They don't commit, and they have lots of reasons: mindset reasons, time reasons, or they don't really see the benefit of it, or they haven't really internalized it. And this, whether it's trying to lose weight, whether it's trying to pass a test, whether it's trying to build a business or build a career, these are things that get in the way and people don't realize. So it's important to understand what those challenges are. Okay, good. Thanks so much for that, Shanna. So, but time to start. Like, when should we start? Well, how? I mean, again, I said before, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start in order to be great. And you can even do it concurrently while you're doing other things. As you're doing work, you should still be doing on self-investment, self-care, and the deep dive stuff. And of course, I've talked about thought leadership brand. The idea is that once you have clarity on your personal brand, then we can more easily ramp it up to build a thought leadership brand, and then has all those outcomes we talked about. So, and we talked about what do these leaders stand for in a few words, but now let me spin it on you and say, what do these leaders stand for in a few words? Because if you're going to build a thought leadership brand for yourself, what is the world saying about these people? And do they want to work with them? Do they want to reach out to them? Do they not want to reach out to them? What exactly is going on? These are things that you need to think about as you're building a thought leadership brand. Because again, it requires you to do those three things I talked about: relationship building, innovating new ideas and content, and working on your communication, speaking, and storytelling skills. And we know it's important because it leads to so much memorability and confidence and opportunities, which is going to be better than where you currently are. Here's where you currently are. Now we want to double X or triple X or quadruple X what we're doing in 1 year. What does it take? Thought leadership branding. And again, that authority, that credibility, that reach and influence will lead to opportunities. And I've already told you kind of what I've been doing, and via social media, it's certainly led to lots of awesome things. And that's why, when we talk about connection with the self, I mean, knowing who you are and connecting yourself and doing that deep dive is so worth it. I can't even tell you how powerful just even developing my why statement has been for me just in the last 5, 6, 7 years for my business. The general top 5 tips, for brand thought leadership, one is to know your expertise, get that clarity specifically in what that is. Start writing, publishing, sharing with the world, fleshing out your social media profile. This is just basic stuff. Speaking at online events and live events, and developing case studies and stories around who you are and your clients, and the network, relationship building, again, online too. These are the general things that people are doing, but we have to kind of go even deeper to lay the groundwork, plant the seeds, and position yourself. So what stops you? Well, having worked with thousands of people over the last 10, 15 years on personal branding, and now in the last year or two working with hundreds of people on their thought leadership brand, I'll tell you what stops people. Number one, mindset and confidence stops people. Whether it's overwhelm, whether it's uncertainty, whether it's narratives in your head, whether it's I don't need this, all these things. People have all these things. I'm too busy doing this stuff. Everybody has mindset confidence issues that stop them. No clarity on personal brand. So they may think they have it, or they feel like they've got it, or they've worked with a person or did a little bit of stuff, and now they get really excited about that 45, 55, 65% alignment, but it's not really validated by the research, by the people out there, and they haven't really done that deep dive work. So that no clarity actually stops them. And that lack of clarity stops them from wanting to start or wanting to understand, because again, there's uncertainty there. There's no focus then, because due to the uncertainty of the different things they're working on, or what my audience wants. I want to be the brand for everybody, or overwhelm of all things that I got to do this project, I do this project, I do this project. I'm always constantly planning, strategizing, doing the tactics. And then they have no support or accountability, right? So whether it's a weekly accountability or daily accountability, there's no community, there's no goals, there's no coach. And again, your brand is everything. You have to be different, greater first. If you're not first, you can still be different, you can still be great. And we talk about this within, DYPB, every individual organization wants focus, alignment, impact. That's what they want. And that's what personal branding does for them. And so we take them through the journey to discover, design, deliver their personal brand. And that's what DYPB is doing in terms of all these different workshops we do. And we have all these courses that we run. And we have the model that we've used. And, today is about investing, committing in the first part, right? The discovery. You'll notice number one, the first thing on discover your personal brand is commit. Commit the time, commit the resource, commit the mindset, commit the energy to really understand that stuff as you're doing the other things too. So let's talk about how to discover, deep dive, and determine your personal brand through the signature process I've been using for the last 10 plus years with my clients. Here's what they currently think of you. Here's what you don't want them to think of you. Here's what you want them to think of you. So, it's interesting. This is the brand of you as you currently stands today. You notice that it's based on what other people think of you, not what you think of yourself. Your brand is defined by how other people perceive you. Ergo, you could let other people manage it for you, or you could take ownership of it and manage yourself by knowing how they think of you and changing it. And what's really interesting is, let's say you're always late Larry, and always late Larry is always late for meetings, right? What would Larry have to do to change that brand perception of him? It's got to show up on time or even earlier. Now, how many times do you have to do that? Statistically, Larry has to show up on time or early 7 to 13 times in a row to even shift that brand perception that he has. So Larry does that, and let's say on number 9, he screws up. He shows up late because whatever happens. And like, there's always late Larry again. There he goes again, and now he starts some ground one again. So you have to start understanding what this is and what you want to shift, because there's always things that we can work on ourselves to be better. So how do you figure out for your personal brand? Again, I'll share my signature process. This is all about being completely honest. So when we talk about our values, and I have to say that I like status, well, then I'll just say that because I do. I like having a nice title, and that's important to me. And that's just who I am. Some people like money, and that's fine too. And you should ask people for feedback as you work through it. That's why we have the community platform. You want to have fun with the process. But the idea is to invest in yourself, because that's the best investment ever. And I talk about the best investment ever. I mean, are you willing to invest 100 hours of your time for 500,000 hours of happiness, joy, fulfillment, legacy, and impact? That's like 50 years. If you are, then that's why you want to spend that time up front to do this work, versus keep revisiting it every year, every 5 years, and it's not the way you want it to be. The more you invest, the more you discover your worth and the value you put to the world, which allows you to even charge higher prices, which is a good thing. And as the old Coca-Cola bottles used to say back in the day, so back in the old days, you had glass bottles, and they would say no deposit, no return. I'm aging myself a little bit here, but you would give the bottle back and get 10 cents or a quarter for the bottle. But actually, it's a philosophy of life. If you don't deposit anything to what you're trying to do, you don't get any return on it. And I think that, to me, is a critical success factor for anybody who wants to get to that next level. So step number 1, whatever you think your brand is, wipe the slate clean. So when I did, I know a people guy, right? But I had to kind of wipe it clean, and let's see what the process would show me. And so the way it works, so we look at 4 key areas to target: your assessment, the assessment of others, which is feedback, online computer assessment, which again, hopefully has less bias than your assessment and the assessment of others, and then review of all your experiences and it's the stories of your life. And from these things, we'll extract the ones that really stand out. Because if all 4 of those things show something, like in my case, all 4 of them showed Bobby's a people guy, that's extremely empowering. It's very validating. Whereas if one says this and one says that, okay, that's not so much. And then we look at your personality traits, your values, your interests, your skills, and the experience throughout your life. And from that, again, we extract a personal brand. And it takes time, but this is what we do. So let's look at personality traits. Well, I mean, essentially, there's lots of tools out there. I like Strength Finders, Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, but there's many of them out there. The idea is to do multiple ones so that you can actually start to see patterns emerge as opposed to just one, because one shouldn't really box you into what it should be. If you do several of them, you start to get some guidance and insights from that tells you a bit more about who you are and how you interact with people and how people perceive you. So I did Myers-Briggs, and I'm a total ENFP. It's been like that for over 25 years. First time I did it was actually in 1993. Okay, I was 22 years old. Sorry, 94, 23 years old. And I remember getting this sheet I did this half-day session. And at the end, they gave me this one piece of paper. And I was like, it just described me. It's like, holy cow, this is me on a page. And I was like freaking out. It was so crazy. And it hasn't changed to this very day. I mean, sometimes people evolve and they shift a little bit, but mine has been the same every single time. So my personality, and when I look at my personality traits on my own self-assessment, I found that number 1, I'm social. Number 2, I'm enthusiastic. Number 3, I'm honest. And that's a big part of my personality. So looking at your traits and ranking them is part of the process. Then we have our values. So our values are basically a set of beliefs or criteria that are important to us. They're unique to each individual based on your background, your upbringing. Maybe your family might be a certain way. Different life experiences can change you. You may have your own personal philosophies. These are all things that are part of who we are. And then, of course, there's 3 different types that relate to your professional personal growth. The intrinsic ones, the things that make you feel, warm fuzzies inside. The extrinsic ones, like status, power, money, material things. Then there's lifestyle, fast-paced, slow-paced, the people in your life, what kind of lifestyle, health and wellness, what kind of lifestyle values you have. And so diving deep into those values will also help us out. Your values are really a point of difference, and they're part of your unique story and brand, and they're also constantly evolving. So the values you had when you were 20 versus 40, they definitely will shift. I mean, my values have changed because of having kids and stuff. So when I looked at my values, my top 3 were love, balance, and friendship. Then we have your interests. Interests are basically things you enjoy doing or are curious about learning. So for example, I may not do rock climbing, I may not do photography, but I'm actually interested in photography, I'm interested in rock climbing. So that's also important too. But the proper alignment of your interests leads to proper motivation. A lot of people who work out there in a business or work out there on their jobs, they are not aligned because there's lack of interest. When I was an engineer, I was not interested in engineering, and that's why my motivation was pretty much dead by the time I got let go. And your interests change again as you do, but it's important to gain insights into your strengths and your needs. So you have to look at what you do and what you yearn to do. And there's a great grid, which is the interest grid, which is direct involvement versus indirect involvement, task-oriented versus people-oriented. So I was very people-oriented, and I was also high on the direct involvement piece. And this gave me a lot of insights because what I found out was that I'm a communicator. So for me, that was actually kind of interesting because, I'm really more into communication, selling, promoting, persuading, motivating people, And when I look at the yellow grid, I'm like, oh my God, scheduling, doing detailed work and working with numbered systems, like forget it. That's not me. You probably you guys feel like you're a part of one of these ones. Maybe some of you are more in the red, maybe some of you are more in the blue. Type in the chat box, where are you? Are you green, blue, yellow, or red? I'd love to understand where you are because most of us are diverse. Most of us are different. But it's good to kind of know where we are when you read this. Which one really excites you? Which one says, yeah, that's me, that's me. I mean, and you're a little bit of all these things. I certainly, even the yellow one, I do like to schedule things, but I'm definitely more into the green section. Then we have our skills. So skills are basically aptitudes developed from pattern of interest, activities, and successes. These are things that are natural tendencies. Learn skill. You learn how to ride a bike. You learn how to eat at a buffet. That's me. Or special skills. I can put so much food on a plate at a buffet. That's a special skill that Bobby has. And these are skills that are always developing, right? So whatever they might be, whether they're food related or business related. One of the things I'm learning now is I'm becoming much, much better at vulnerable storytelling. That's a big thing that I'm able to do. So it's important to know what are your aptitudes, and more importantly, which ones do you like? Because when you list your top 10 interests, your top 10 skills, one of the things that you might find out, which was what I found out because I was in engineering, was that my skills were analyzing, calculating, deciding, stress management, and all these things that weren't part of my interests. And so that was a big disconnect for me. And what I found was there's only a couple that were the same. Influencing and counseling for interests were the only ones that were my top 10 skills. And so that gave me a lot of cause and a lot of pause to think about, well, what am I doing with myself? What should I be doing instead? And now you probably know that my interests there are probably among my top skills now, but at the time it was something else because I was an engineer. Because just because you're good at something doesn't mean you like it. I mean, I was good at Excel sheets. I was good at analytics. I was good at looking at data and all that kind of stuff. Did I like it? No, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Then we have the experience stories. And these are important because we look at all the things that you experienced, the knowledge you've gained, the achievements you've had, all the successes from the application of skills, the acknowledgements, the awards, the key results you've had. What is the story and the feelings behind those experiences? When we look at your top 5, 10 experiences of your life, you can extract certain threads and information that, even the things that suck, the jobs you had that sucked. Why did my engineering job suck? Well, what does that tell me? Why did that job at that factory that I worked at suck? Well, what does that tell me? Your experience stories are really about learning about yourself. And also, you can focus on any achievements that you're most proud of. There's one little story I share with you is I had a student that was part of my, I used to work at this program called 𝐲𝐶𝐻 Valley, which was a program for gifted high school kids. And one of my students had cancer, and he was sharing his story with us, and he beat that cancer. And then later on, his cancer spread, and he got worse and worse, and he died. And we were just devastated by this. We gathered together at his funeral. Half of us in the program from around the country showed up, and we decided we felt we needed to do something. And so we decided to put together a scholarship in the name. And we worked really hard for about 3-4 months to put it all together, try to find sponsors, set it up at the university he went to and the college he went to. And the Vince Fazzari Scholarship was born, and it's still there today. It's not something that's it's not anywhere out there on my resume, on my profile, anything. But when I think of that story, and I think of why it was important to me, well, his story was really powerful. His potential as a youth and where he was going. I mean, it made me think about what I really cared about. I cared about young people. I cared about leadership. I cared about stories. I cared about, vulnerable folks. I cared about helping people get to a higher level. And that's why I spent my time and energy helping create that scholarship. So when you think about the things you're proud of, there may be something that's not even out there, but it's personal to you. I'm sharing with you, but it's not really something I share out there with the outside world. But I know now why I did that. So I look at my personal experience stories. I was really big into musical theater, producing, directing, and performing musicals. 𝐲𝐻 Valley was this program for high school kids and youth that I worked at for many, many years. When I did my MBA at McMaster University, it was definitely a big pivot for me, and I found some leadership and inspiration around the kind of impact I could have, because I started studying really hard, and I became valedictorian. I was president of the MBA Association, so that really helped. Brand marketing, I loved the people, the energy, the stuff we were doing was so much fun. Entrepreneurship has followed me my whole life. I did junior achievement in high school. I did the 𝐲𝐻 Valley stuff. My family are a bunch of entrepreneurs. And now, now that I'm a parent and I'm focused on healthy living, that's another big experience that tells me, what's important to me, what are my values. So all these stories of your life are going to help you figure this out. This will also help you with when you share stories with the world from the day 3 of storytelling. So then once you've done all that work, it's time to extract your brand. Number one, what are the common themes? So for me, a common theme was people, right? Were there any threads within the stories? Well, there's often Bobby was doing a lot of influencing and presenting and performing and nurturing. What are some of the words, ideas, and images that stand out? You want to brainstorm some of the relatable and exciting words from all these things you're doing. This is where we're kind of diverging into all this different information. And then what happens is we diverge, and then we start to converge onto, okay, what is that brand that we know is part of who we are? And because your personal brand is what everyone gets or expects from you, it's your promise to them. So Bobby promises warmth, Bobby promises accessibility, Bobby promises engagement, Bobby promises to help you get to that next level and to 10x your results. That's what Bobby's trying to do. And so that's my promise to people when I meet them. They expect warmth, they expect kindness. And if I'm having a bad day, even then I'm still pretty warm and kind whenever I need to be. And this is usually where people need a coach now to really help them focus and get clarity on that brand statement, those brand elements, that why statement, that vision and mission, to really create that focus and accountability. So that's where I do a lot of coaching as well. So when I take everything that I have, okay, now what do I have? What are the threads and themes that emerge? Bobby likes people, nurturing, helping, influencing, presenting, variety, balance, and big city living. And from that, I came up with different paths that I could take. I then took all the different personal stories, and I took those 5 things and I brainstormed different ways to, what are some other words? If you look at nurturing, heal, hug, treat, honesty. When I look at performing, rock star, negotiator, persuade, dynamic. When I look at variety, spontaneity, exciting, and I tried to take all these words to try to brainstorm ways for me to express my brand statement and to express my mission and vision and why. And so at the end of the day, we then come up with our top 5 to 10 personal brand statements. Your brand statement is basically what you are best at, who you serve, and how you do it uniquely. And so I came up with, at the time, Bobby Omer is a dynamic connector who nurtures people to discover their purpose and authentic journey to achieve personal and professional leadership. Now that's an old one, but that's what I came when I first did this whole process back in the day. But I wanted to come up with something a little bit more punchy, so then I turned it into this whole thing. Bobby Omer is the beacon of light who finds lost leaderships and brings them ashore to start an authentic leadership journey of passion and purpose. I kind of did the Lost thing, the Beacon of Light with the ships, and try to make it a little more funky and interesting. And that's kind of what I did. The idea is to keep your statement punchy, memorable, and real, but it's real to you and punchy for yourself, and it excites you. And once you have this brand, once you know yourself, you can start to show yourself and to grow yourself. And once you have this brand statement, you start to understand your voice. You get to share your story. You get to really develop your brand out there. And the why statement, I can't even tell you how important the why statement is. Knowing my why, which has evolved, this fires me up every day. When I work with people on their why statement, they get all fired up. Oh man, that is the best feeling in the world. Because as soon as you figure out that clarity and that brand and that why statement you want to work on the rest of your life, you want the rest of your life to start right away. And it's very, very exciting. And I was very happy and very excited. And I haven't looked back for the last 15 years. It's been amazing. Now, how do we leverage this for thought leadership? Well, first is getting that clarity, right? Then we can start doing better on the thought leadership journey, right? You start to understand the brand of other people. You start to give others an authentic voice with your content, your relationship building. You start to invest in other people's story as you help them as your clients. And again, the best investment is you, whether you're investing in your health, investing in your brand, investing in your personal, professional life and growth. There's no better investment than yourself. And and that's why I always try to encourage people to do it, because most people don't want to do this. They don't want to do the work, or they don't realize there's more work to be done, because there always is. Even for myself, there's more work to be done on my mindset. There's more work to be done on certain things that I'm trying to do, because there's certain things I do well and other things that I'm trying to get better at. So that's the signature process. And I want to talk about next steps in terms of we've done the 5 days, and I want to take you on where you can go with this moving forward. Because this to me was more like a springboard to kind of fire you up and kick your butt to get you to commit to those next steps and what you need to do. So on day one, we talked about understanding the 3 pains that affect confidence in our mindset, right? We had emotional pain from various aspects of our life. We have financial pain potentially, whether we went broke or living in debt or things like that, living paycheck to paycheck. Or we have relationship pain. It could be parents, it could be children, it could be a spouse or partner. These are things that come up a lot, and they're deeper than we even realize. And every time I work with somebody, something comes up every single time. I'm telling you, something comes up. And even when I work with my own coach, he finds something I hadn't even thought about, right? But I didn't realize that that's still bothering me from 20 years ago. And so finding that supportive community or a personalized coach or both is something that we need to understand. What about successful people that I know? I looked at the people that I know, like Amber Mack's a friend of mine. She's a great speaker, a digital strategist, and she does some really amazing work. And my other friend, Mike Burkich, is also he's a great parent. He has run a great business. He's really creating an impact. So, I talked to them to understand what exactly are they doing that's working for them, that, the successful people that I know, what are they doing differently? So the traits of those who make it, well, they have emotional maturity. They're making decisions not influenced by emotion. And not to say we shouldn't emote, we should, but when we make our decision, we should not be influenced by that emotion. They value relationships. They build more profitable, meaningful relationships. They have long-term relationships. They create value. Even a person sending business is also profitable when they build relationships because they thought of you, but they build valued relationships. They actually have financial literacy. So they actually have all your basic stuff sorted out, like government documents, taxes, etc. They've learned the hard way versus learning the hard way, which is costly, right? Having a biz model or revenue model defined, having means of sustainability, a career or scalability of their business, they achieve all of the success with the right community, the mentors, mindset, and doing the right work. That's what they've done. So, so when you think of the few who've made it, and you look at the journey of where you are, what do you see? The idea here is to reflect upon your own habits and patterns, to see where you are right now, to learn what is driving you forward, what is keeping you stagnant, or even what is holding you back from going forward or going backward or going forward faster. This requires a heightened sense of awareness and emotional intelligence. Most of us who built it, have made it, they've built their self-awareness muscles. And does require emotional maturity that isn't held back by limiting beliefs, but rather held firm by a steady and a strong growth mindset. And that journey towards greater confidence addresses this gap, and it will get you to that next level you so much desire. So then, there's a big glaring question that we have to ask ourselves, right? Which is, why haven't you achieved what you set out to do? And I want you to take some time to just write it down. Don't share it. Just write it down for yourself, right? Why haven't you achieved some of the things you've set out to do? I'll give you like a little bit here. Just write down for yourself. Don't share with me. I just want you to write down for yourself. And it could be anything. It could be business related, health related, or whatever it is. And don't forget, after we're done, I'm going to stick around longer to answer any question you have on the 5 days and all the things we talked about today, and even learn more about what you're doing and how I can help you. But that's what I want you to write down, because that's for yourself. I want you to think about that, because it's an important question to ask. There are 3 things you can do to change your circumstances, build your confidence, and get to where you want to go. Number 1, surround yourself with people who care about you, people, community. One of the qualities of those who made it ambitious or more ambitious are people who support their goals, people who have the experience and the knowledge. That's 1. Number 2, getting the support when you need it, being able to ask the right people, the right questions, have access to the right resources. This is something that really helped me out when I was actually trying to lose weight. That's why Weight Watch is so successful. That's why weight management groups are so good, because there is that support. There are people who care about my success. And so when I do that versus on my own, I have far greater success. It's the same reason that when I was teaching GMAT and people are studying for the standardized test, forming groups and having that accountability work really well. Find the right mentor and coach to guide you. Find the right expert to give you the knowledge you need to get to that next level. So look at that question: what would it be like if you could take your engagement thought leadership brand at that next level, and not just like that 10% or that 20% growth, but that 100% growth, that doubling exactly where you are. Because working, I'm a chess player, and when I think about chess players, there's people who play chess casually. There's people who play chess professionally. Then among those chess players, there's those who achieve the master level, and there's others who achieve the grandmaster level. And so for me, I'm here to help. I'm not here to help people how to learn how to play chess. I'm here to help people get to that mastery level and the grandmaster level. That's what I'm here to do. And so when you think about that mastery level and that grandmaster level, imagine what that would be and what would it take. Here's one of my clients I worked with. Janelle, she's really nice, but she said something about getting clarity, purpose, and direction for her new business from the ground up. And it's critical in the growth of her business and career. And I know she doesn't give the best hugs, but that's fine. That's totally different. But essentially, helping her feel going from a loss leader to a thought leader was really kind of the way to go, and really helped her business. So a lot of people also talk about outcomes. Like, what are the outcomes of building a thought leadership brand? I mean, that's something that people don't realize. But you're seen as an influencer and authority in your field or industry. You're sought out for media interviews, podcasts, authoring books, speaking opportunities, and more. You're monetizing, growing your digital presence, double your business income in a year. That's what thought leaders are doing. You have a massive following. Look forward to all your innovative ideas and memorable content. Now, I'm asking you, which one of these do you want? I mean, maybe you only want one of these things. Maybe you want some of them. Maybe you want all of them. Because everyone's different. Everyone's different. That's fine. Maybe you want to develop excellence in each of the thought leadership branding skills: personal branding, storytelling, building relationships, content creation, speaking with confidence, better mindset, leveraging LinkedIn or other platforms. You're able to use this and take your business results, your career growth, and your inspirational story to a legacy for all time. And having a sophisticated plan that integrates all the above elements, that's kind of the grandmaster level we're talking. So if you want to be one of those success stories, start making serious and longer term improvements around a career or business you love, this is what thought leadership branding is for. And this is Stephanie, someone I worked with, who also took the 5-day program, actually. And she said, Bobby brings a ton of value to the table. Real life experience, he's well-connected influencers, he brings a wealth of knowledge that he'll share with you. Through that experience, he just has wisdom that he kind of drops valuable lessons every time I meet him. My why statement gets me really fired up. Bobby can meet you where you are and bring you 10 levels up. Thank you, Stephanie. She's the director of global marketing at Merck, which is a pharmaceutical industry. So yeah, she's been really awesome to work with. Now I want to take you back to what you and other people have said back in the day holds them back. Okay, so on day one, people are sharing what held them back. Here are some of the things that people said. So some of the things you said, some of the things that previous people have said in the program that run: fear of failure, distractions, fear, inner dialogue, lack of focus, procrastination, fear, here comes up a lot, imposter syndrome, lack of focus, doubting ourselves, fear, lack of confidence. Do you hear similar things that people are saying? These are the things that you said and other people have said. And then I asked the question, what would you achieve with more confidence? What did you and everyone else say? You said this: I would be in Mars now. You rise, you'll succeed, you attract opportunities, you take more risks, you take action. You have a much better mindset, you fear nothing, you're consistent. I would have written several books. I would have had my dream job. And what's really interesting about this is that, and that was only with more confidence. If you had more confidence, this is what you get. It doesn't even talk about having greater mindset, support, community, coaching, strategies, tactics, clarity, etc. You know, I have many programs where I've helped people over the years, but you know, for the most part, thought leadership branding is where I'm putting my energy. And if you want to have real success with thought leadership branding, there's 5 C's that you need. Number 1, clarity. Clarity with your brand, clarity with your target audience, clarity with your task, clarity with your messaging. Clarity really is the foundational tool for having that success you want. Coaching, potential results, be accountable to direct you. Consistency with your content, consistency with your actions, consistency with meeting your goals and tracking things. Having a community for support and soundboarding and feedback and leverage that knowledge. And then of course, having that confidence that builds with your mindset and builds with the time, with consistency, with coaching and with clarity. That's what you need, right? So then, you know, the other question is, with the right support, the right people, and the right knowledge, can you achieve your goals? Yes. So, you know, I'm hoping to invite you to join me on that. And, you know, I created something really special for folks, and I've been working with them over this past year, something that has everything you need, because, you know, there's always a gap sometimes when you work on these things, but, you know, one, surrounding yourself with people who care about you, getting the support when needed, find the right mentor or coach, and leveraging personal branding for clarity and focus. So what we created was actually, that's what this 5 days is about. But from that, we actually created a whole program that helps people across every single aspect. And, you know, there are different ways to do it. Like, so for example, I have a personal branding course that's like 30 videos, 30 question exercises, 20 hours of homework material. And the whole point of this is to give people clarity, consistency, and confidence, right? Then we have, you know, we have the online challenge platform where I do weekly 1-hour Zoom calls for group coaching. I do weekly 30-minute office hours. People can ask questions on their content or their why statement or their journey or their work 24/7. This gives people, to address mindset and confidence, more coaching, community, and confidence. Then we want to address the storytelling speaking, right? So working on your 3-minute personal brand life story, helping with a TEDx talk idea, giving you stories for content, your website, your profiles, getting you speaking media gigs. And again, we're working on storytelling with the masterclass I do. There's coaching, there's consistency, and there's confidence. We're addressing all the things that people need. And then content strategy. This is probably one that everyone really wants help with. You know, how do I get my content to escalate, whether, no matter where it is? Okay, it doesn't matter where it is. Maybe it's a Twitter space or a Clubhouse room. Maybe it's you know, on your website. Maybe it's your LinkedIn profile. And this helps with clarity, coaching, consistency, and confidence, because they want the knowledge and they want the confidence. And then finally, you know, building meaningful relationships. You know, I have a 12-module program on networking, building relationships, followers, and being memorable. This again helps people with coaching, with community, and confidence. And so what we're trying to give you is not just, you know, the foundation here, but also everything else. Giving you the knowledge and the strategies for myself and the people in the community, making you more consistent, giving you a community you can leverage, giving you the coaching leverage, and giving you the clarity you need to take that personal brand and feed into your mindset confidence so you have greater clarity. So this is how you can get there. If you make a commitment, this is what you need to do. So, you know, you have 2 choices. You can either do this on your own, or you can work with us and me. You guys know my credentials, you've seen me in action and how I can help you. You know, I'm hoping you'll commit today and book a call with me, because, you know, I know where you are, you know where you are, you know where you want to be. And I'd love to be the bridge, and our community can be too. And if you have a question, you can always like book a call with me. So, you know, I would love for you to book a call with me. There's a link there, bit.ly/callBobU. You can book a clarity call with me, and let's talk. Let's find out more about you. Let's find out more about how I or our community or we can help you with the way you want to go. So, you know, I'm not going to be salesy or anything like that. Like, you know, that's fine. I'm just telling you, look, I'm here because I think you're great people. I think you have great potential. I believe in you. I really want to invest in your success. And so all I'm suggesting at the end of this 5 days is book a call with me. Let's talk. In terms of homework and worksheet, guys, there's a lot there. So we have the self-confidence and fears and mindset exercises. The first day. Day 2 is about content, putting content out there and coming with your content strategy. Day 3 about storytelling for frameworks around your lifeline, your 3-minute brand story and best practices. Day 4 is about sending a connection request to 5 people you want to connect with. And make sure you put in a contextual message. And then of course, for day 5, I'm going to send you a personal branding audit worksheet where you audit exactly where your personal brand is to see kind of what you know, what you don't know, where are the gaps, where are the opportunities. And then of course, the other homework is, I think you should book a call with me. But you know, I only want to work with people that want to work, you know, want to book a call with me. Maybe you don't want to work with me, but maybe you want to book a call with me. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I'm here to support you, and I'm grateful that you're here. So that's what it's all about. You know, you have the tool, you have the path. Now you just need the support. And again, another challenge, if you want to do another post, I encourage you all, let's do one just about gratitude, right? Create a gratitude post on social media, anywhere you want, and tag as many of us as you can. And just share some gratitude, right? I think that would be awesome. I'd love to actually see that post, and wherever it might be, let us know. All right, so again, 5 days are now over. We've done the 5 days. I hope you enjoyed the process. Again, the next step is to book a call. There is a link, bit.ly/callBobbyU. Some final thoughts before we end with the training. Again, it's important to build personal brand because it's the only thing you're going to have. Your reputation online and in the new business world is pretty much the game. So you've got to be a good person. You can't hide anything, and more importantly, you've got to be out there at some level. A lot of people who are holding back realize that, you know, I need to be out there doing stuff and putting myself out there and being clear on that brand. And again, my whole goal is to not just, you know, develop ideas and develop people, but to develop new leaders. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I want to help people with this 5-day challenge as well as work with them beyond. And again, I will say, fight for your life, right? What does that mean? Fight for the life you want, fight for the career you want, fight for the business you want, fight for the relationship with people you love that you want. Fight for something that's really important to you, that will give you input, impact, fulfillment, legacy, all the things that are important to you. And, you know, if you're willing to fight for your life, I'm willing to fight with you. If not now, then when? If not you, then who? But I can promise you that if you're willing to fight for your life and for the best life that you want, and you're willing to do that work, then I'm happy to fight with you. All right, so that's it for the training portion of the 5 days. I want to thank you all for being part of the 5 days, whether you came to all the days or some of the days or just watched the replay. But I do want to thank you. You know, this is all my information here. This is all my content information. I'm making myself accessible to you. But the one invitation I'll say is that everyone here, please book a call with me. bit.ly/callBobbyU. The cases are important, so capital C, capital B, capital U. And I can take you through, understand kind of where you're at, where you want to go, and see if you're ready to take that next step and make 2022 one of the best years of your life. So think about that. With that, I'm going to end the session and open it to questions. So thanks so much for being here. Anybody have any questions on anything I've covered? 5 days, your business, today's topic of personal branding, anything you want to ask.
Bobby, I just wanted to say thank you and nice meeting everybody. And I've got to run to my next meeting, but thank you. I'm going to watch them all on replay again.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Brahma. I love Brahma's energy. It's amazing at 4 o'clock in the morning. She has so much energy. It's great. Anybody else have any other questions you want to ask?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you as well. And I'm really excited I'm home now, as you can see.
Yay.
Yay, I made it. But I'm excited to watch the replays and dig into the homework. So this is my commitment to everybody. Watch out for some posts for me. Awesome. And I'm supercharged, but I've got to run too. I've got a tech rehearsal for a talk. So I will see you guys later online. And thank you so much, Bobby. This was fantastic. And
awesome. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Daniel.
Nice to meet everybody.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Just going to reiterate, thanks very much, Bobby. It's been great. I will try to watch a few of them on the replay because some of them I definitely was a little distracted with other stuff going on. But yeah, it's been good. I think the last 2 days especially were really had a lot of extra value in them that I found. So it does help that we're in Twitter Spaces every week. So I hear, you know, some of some of it's stuff that you've shared before. So it's really good and people find valuable. So thank you again very much for it.
Thank you, Samantha. I appreciate it. Awesome.
You rock, Samantha.
Why is that?
Because you just do,
You
you
rock.
just feel like you've got that many things going on and you've got to choose between one great thing and another great thing. And I'm just sure you'll pick something great.
Oh, I know, right? So I'm a pretty passionate person. I wish I had a little bit more energy than I do, but yeah, we got slapped this as a crazy farm thing that's got to be done in the next like 2 days. I'm like on and off. Accountants, $250 an hour, and 2 of them are working on it, you know, frantically trying to get it done in 2 days. And I'm just like, ah! I just want to work on my project. I'm working on this multi-achiever community right now, and I'm super excited. My partner, one of the founding partners with me, she just sent all her branding stuff to me this morning, and I was just like super excited. So and then hearing Daniel talk, because you know on Twitter we just have this, we see people just like almost like one version. Like I always feel like I play small on Twitter, and you just see this little bit of you. Like LinkedIn, it definitely has more diversity of all your professionalism, but in Twitter, it's just so small and so bite-sized that I feel like you don't really know people. You think you do, but you don't. And like just getting to know Daniel a little bit too. And I'm like, man, this guy's freaking brilliant. Where were you this whole time on Twitter? And I was, and so I'm really excited about this product. And this has been really good timing, Bobby, to just kind of think through what do I want to spend the next couple of years doing and let the other ones go. Maybe they're for later. So.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Brian. What are we going to say? Brian had unmiked.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, everybody. It's been a delight not only to listen to you, Bobby, but to meet everybody else. And I wish you every success in building your brand and reaching your full potential. And yeah, everyone should buy my Talking Circle game, don't you think? Even though you know nothing about it, but you know me, and you know I wouldn't do anything that wasn't amazing. No, I'm just saying that look out for that. I'll be doing that. Once I've done something in the next little while, I've got to finish. It's been a pleasure to meet you, NFP. You are a blazing ENFP, so am I, and we don't want to be anything else. And I think reasons I've loved listening to you is because you are authentic and you are genuine, and you do really care about helping people to become a brand leader. And I think I should become one of those. So thank you very much, everybody, and thank you, Bobby, for giving us good value in our talks. And I won't miss getting up at 3:30 in the morning. Tomorrow I'm going to sleep in. So lovely from Australia. Tomorrow's a good day. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thanks so much. All right, great. All right, well, with that, if there are no more questions, I think we'll end the training, but I want to thank everybody for being here, and stay safe. And I look forward to the calls with all of you. I'm booking calls all throughout the holidays too, so feel free to call me. I'm off for like 3 weeks, so I'm happy to take 30 minutes, 30 call and just talk with you guys, find out more about what you're doing. So with that, take care, see you soon, and we'll talk again. Bye.